And so much. Today I'm going to give you some bit of chit chat and the feedback on special needs children and specifically identification. So from the get-go, the majority of special needs children are identified anywhere from the 0 to 5 range. So it's a lot of the time it's before they're at school or just when they, kindergarten, first, second grade. And it's the identification process is when obviously start off with the parents seeing that their child is having difficulty learning or has some sort of disability, and then from there the parents will go straight to a medical provider who will do all sorts of tests and then evaluate the child. And so once the child gets to school, a lot of the times, around first grade or so, the parents can actually let the school know what they've done. They've gone to the medical provider. They've done a barrage of tests, and that they think that the child would be in the IDEA classification of special needs. Once that's done, and but there's still a system that goes through with the school district, and they have to go through their protocol, just like the doctor had to go through theirs. And so there's always either a formal or informal testing at the school level, and depending, so when they're a little older, they can if they happen to be in there, they might have some mild disabilities or whatever, and they decided to have them looked into, then the school can go through curriculum-based assessments, classroom observations, parental report, of course, teacher interviews with the parent and the students, review of the past records academically and all the state standard testing that the kids do, private assessment reports, obviously for anything from the parents, developmental and medical history from the physicians, and cumulative school files, and interview parents and students again. So there's definitely a linear progression for when these kids are tested and are on the spectrum. The school district has quite a few certified teachers who, their main job is to identify children, and also the identification, the medical part of it, getting them into the school system, and getting them into the program to where their services are being met. Eventually, it could take some time. So it can take some time to identify, and once that process goes from the physician, the parents, the school, the testing, informal, formal, all the way through, there's a lot of variables involved. How old is the child? Is the school district capable of handling something in a quick and orderly fashion? Most of the time, not. Not all the time, though. The Eagle County School District is lucky enough to have a pretty healthy budget for special education, about 18% of its budget, and they have a lot of staff committed to identifying, working with, and supporting special needs kids. So they have 70 paraprofessionals. They have about 25 special ed teachers. And numerous different departments that help with training and directing and overseeing the whole program. So for Eagle County, the system can move a lot quicker than other programs, but still, depending on the age of the child and what year they're in, it takes some time. There's always the protocols to go through, and the things it takes to get it done can be occasionally a bit of a nightmare. but the timeline could take, it's not going to be overnight. It's going to take a couple of weeks, if anything, if not months, by the time that the child is in and up and ready in the program. And then once they are, it's quite enabling to actually see the progress that happens, especially through the differentiation of the kids. Now, in my situation, well, I have 15 moderate needs kids, and they to go from say elementary school to middle school, and they're all sixth graders. It's a tough call, but they've had a very good, seamlessly transition into the program there, and so all my mod needs kids, they all go into the classes. It's all differentiated. They go in small group settings. They normally have a team leader in the group there. There's the gen ed teachers in the room. I'm in the room as the special education teacher, and a lot of the times, more than 50% of the time, we have an extra para in there as well. So, especially if there's a lot of my kids in the one room. So, for example, we have a sixth grade math class at sixth period, and there's 22 kids, and I have, out of the 22 kids, 6 of them are mine. And then we have another 5 kids who make the spectrum but haven't been tested, who should be in the special needs program, and that leaves 11 kids, gen ed kids there. So we have to have there has to be a lot of supporting adults in that room to make the whole thing work. So, and then moving on from there, what happens to students who are segregated and not ready to be mainstreamed? Well, it comes in 2 categories. I mean, in the middle school where I am, segregation is we have 4 SSN kids, like severe needs kids, and they have their own classroom every period. For PE, some of them have walkers, one has a wheelchair, so they are taken to PE, and even if they can't run around the gym and whatnot, we wheel them around in their walkers, and then at least give them some sort of social aspect of being in part of the class. At lunchtime, they have a lot of the kids at the school go and have lunch with them, and it really helps them out. But for the gen ed side of things, they are not in the classroom. Now my kids, I have 15 of them, and they all do gen ed classes. They all have support from me, obviously from the gen ed teacher, and also the para who would come in. And then so between the 3 of us, for the most part, sometimes there's only 2, but whoever's in there, we can get around and make the kids a really comfortable area to work in on their class work, and with the way we manage the class, and we split them in the groups, and on quite a lot of project-based learning involved, and then even on the math side of things, it doesn't really matter, and so everybody gets attention, and it works well. As for the supports for the teachers, well, the gen ed teachers in supporting in the fact of accommodating special ed, there's not a lot of it. They'll have meetings with the principal or the master teachers to how to deal and work with and organise the kids, but there's no formal education on that side of things. That a lot of it comes up to me, so there has to be good collaboration between myself and the gen ed teacher, and then the para is in there to assist and just basically do whatever we ask them to do. So so my kids who go in there, they go straight into the support role and the pushing role, and then and then for the other kids who are the SSN kids, they're pretty much in the exclusion part of the thing. So, but if the for the mod needs kids going into to be mainstreamed, all of it's really the elementary teachers do just a great bang up start on getting these kids organised to deal with their upcoming environment. You know, a lot of them are emotionally charged, and the fear of the unknown. Obviously, the kids, the elementary school is only 100 yards away or so, so they all come up and they do a walk around the school and check it out and spend some time with middle schoolers, and so it's less stigmatizing and nerve-wracking for those kids once they've done a tour of the school, and the teachers pump them up in 5th grade about coming here. It doesn't matter whether they're the gen ed kids or the special ed kids or the mod needs kids. Everyone's psyched to be there. The first week or two is a little nerve-wracking for them, and but eventually they get their level of independence and the skills that they need to get the job done. And so it's I think it's not flawless, but it's a pretty efficient system to take them from elementary to middle school, and then even the kids with the disabilities there are well looked after from the get-go, and so everyone wins a trophy, I guess. So which is great for those kids. They all give it a good shot, and they do a great job of and assimilating into their new environment.